Welcome to A Dose of Feel Good. I'm your host, Whitney Bischoff, and today we are talking about why not you. You can see full show notes at doseoffeelgood.my.canva.site. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello everyone. I'm gonna apologize in advance. I have had quite a scratchy throat the last few days. Apparently I've been talking a lot, imagine that. But today we are on episode 23 and our topic is why not you? And I love this. This has been something that popped into my head when I first started this podcast, just thinking of do I even have anything that's worth sharing? It's just all these thoughts in my head, and who would want to hear about those, right? But I do think it's a super cool concept of sometimes we think really hard of ourselves, and we sell ourselves short thinking we can only make it so far for whatever reason. But when we start to think of it a little bit differently and just tell ourselves out loud, why not me? Or, like I said, why not you, right? There are so many reasons that we can be what we want to be, but we do sell ourselves short. And I think we sometimes get stuck in this mindset that we think everyone else can get to their goalpost, whatever that goalpost is for them. But since we are our own worst critics, we don't think that we can rise to that same level, which is so crazy because we really do admire those around us that are meeting their marks, but we're doing those same things. I talked with some friends recently, and we're just always moving our goalpost, where when we see our friends or family that are meeting those things, we do admire, we tell them that we're proud of them. But when we ourselves are meeting those goalposts, we move it. And so we forget to think that we are actually making that progress. I think another way to think of this is, of your favorite celebrity, like actor, actress, musician. I'm a big Broadway girly, so those folks who have made it on Broadway, or even just thinking of your favorite podcast host, if you will, or, any of those types of things. I think when we remind ourselves that they weren't always where they are now, right? At some point, Taylor Swift was just a small town girl trying to figure it all out. And now look at where she is. And so I think when we dream of everything that's possible, those things are possible for anyone. If they can do it, why can't I do it, right? But I think it starts with really believing in ourselves and asking ourselves what our wildest dreams are. I think when we're living into the day today, we sometimes don't credit ourselves for those big dreams that we have. I've been talking a lot about how there's two sides of this coin here, that if even one person is impacted by some of the tidbits that I'm sharing here, then that's a win. But also at the same time, the reason I started this whole podcast, or my why, if you will, is that I just feel like there are so many lessons or things that I've learned that I wish I just would have known sooner, or the power of just changing that mindset a little bit. And if that can help even one person, great. But I do genuinely feel like there are so many more people who I could reach and impact. And that's really where this is starting. And so, just taking those small, tangible steps. But in reality, my wildest dreams, right, is to impact all of these people just from my life lessons, and knowing that does have an impact. And I know that can happen. It's just, one, believing that I do actually have nuggets of information that are helpful to share, but then also taking those steps to really reach more people. And so it's this balancing act, if you will, that we can make all of those wildest dreams come true, whatever that looks like. But it starts with that mindset, and then taking those actionable steps in bite-sized pieces. So I think our story for today, I'm going to touch on a couple of different things. I'm going to start first with my previous role. I've worked in higher ed for a good bit. I was a hall director, worked in student engagement, I was an advisor, and this position opened up. It was a director level, and I was over here relatively young at the time. Like, I was like, there's no way that I am going to be hired. I don't have the knowledge and expertise, when in reality, like, I had a degree that lined up with that. I did have experience over a variety of different areas. So all of those boxes were checked, but like deep down in my core, I was like, am I qualified to be applying for this job even? And the more I thought about it, I was like, I might as well just try. And I did. I got the job. But there was this constant, like, piece that I was telling myself of, like, do I even reach the level that I need to in order to do this job? And the reality is, why not me? Like, why not have that opportunity to share these gifts with so many people and make that impact? And there is no reason that, whether it's age or any of those pieces, that like there still is knowledge and things to be able to be shared. And so we sell ourselves short. And so sometimes we aren't applying for those dream jobs, or we're not going for it because we're telling ourselves, oh, these are all the reasons why I cannot do something, rather than changing that mindset in just the little bit of phrasing and saying, but why not me? Why can't I be that person? And I think that's really powerful. And it aligns really well, again, with this podcast journey. Even as I was starting it, it just totally was out of the blue. I'd been doing some radio interviews for my job and loved it. And then I was like, I had a student that told me, well, you should start a podcast. Like, you have a voice for radio. And I was like, I don't even know the first thing to starting a podcast. And yet here we are, 23 episodes in. And so it's changing. And I really told myself, but why not me? Why can I not share this information or go on this journey? And it's been such a joy. I just, even hearing people that reach out, that are like, this is so helpful, this was exactly what I needed, is just so heartwarming. And now I know that me telling myself, why not me, got me here. And now I can impact all of these people. And I just think that's so, so powerful. So what's the impact of this? I think just reminding ourselves there is no reason that we can't do everything that we want to do. I am so looking forward to the day that being able to use this podcast as a platform to speak and share with all these people and travel and just experience people as my strengths finder, winning others over. I have so many people that I have left to meet. Or again, as a wicked fanatic, I have so many strangers that will be my friends someday, and I just can't wait to meet them. But there's no reason that I can't have all of those things, right? And to take those steps in that way. But it really does start with knowing what those dreams are, and then believing that you are wildly capable of achieving all of those things that you have in the back of your mind that maybe you've put on the back burner for whatever reason, or you just keep telling yourself all the reasons why you can't do it, or the timing's not right, or whatever that looks like. But no, you are wildly capable of achieving everything that you have dreamed or thought for your life. You can do it. And everybody's been in that place before where they were not at the top of their game, but they continued, they persevered, and I think that's really powerful. And once we know what that thing is that we're trying to achieve, we take it one step at a time. We take it day by day, starting with reminding ourselves that we are super capable of doing it, and then take one action step. So there are two pieces to this puzzle that we're talking about here today. We're talking about not only the mindset to believe we can actually do that, but then also taking actionable steps and celebrating when we've made those wins as we do move our goalposts, because we want to continue to reach those goals and aim higher. And those are all wonderful things, but we do have to take it one step at a time, but actually do something, right? I keep telling my husband that I can't wait for this podcast to explode and reach all of these people and book these speaking gigs. But at the end of the day, like, I have to put in the effort. I have to record the episodes. I have to publish them. I have to do marketing. Like, I have to reach out to folks about being a speaker. Like, there are all these things that I have to do. It starts with, yes, I do believe I'm capable of doing all of those things, but also then taking those action steps. And it's the same with the goals that you have, whatever those might be. I think it's also helpful to be reminded, because we might get down on ourselves along the way, that thinking of it in terms of a professional athlete, right? They don't give up when they lose or when they fail, but instead that they use that failure, if you will, as momentum to teach them the lessons of how to do better next time and to keep trying and practicing and showing up. And I think that's the same for us. We're going to experience setbacks. We're going to experience quote unquote failures, but we should use them. I keep calling them professional development opportunities because we can grow from those. Like, what is this failure or mistake or whatever teaching us so that I can aim higher and really reach those things? Because if we win all the time and we never have those setbacks, we get into this place where we're just content with where we are rather than moving that goalpost and growing and learning and doing better. But it also reminds us to not give up. So instead of thinking, again, why you can't do something, change that narrative to why not me? Or, I want to say this to you, why not you? Because you can do all of those things that you are capable of and that you're dreaming of. So I have a few calls to action here today, which I don't think will be a surprise if you've tuned in this long. But the first is to really identify what are those wild dreams that you are thinking of and really thinking them into practical pieces, right? So my dream might be to travel the world and visit all of these places, right? Which is great, but like conceptually, what does that mean? And what is your goal there? What is your why? And I talk about that all of the time. So identify what are those dreams and really putting them into what will happen if I reach those? Like, what is the byproduct of that? What is the objective? So it's those two pieces, identifying what those dreams are, but then why is it important as well? Like, what tangibly are you getting from reaching those dreams? Write them down. I often encourage folks to make them front and center, whether that's the lock screen on your phone, whether that's a sticky note that you have when you get into your car every day, on your mirror, whatever that looks like, but continuously reminding yourself that these are the dreams that I have and that I am doing to work towards. Tell yourself when you get in the mindset, especially when things get hard, why not me? And why not this moment to reach those dreams? We don't live forever, if that's news to you. Surprise. But why not start taking those steps now to reach those things and to really live a life that you are super excited for, super excited to wake up every day. And it doesn't have to be every day, but making those tangible steps that you can do those things. You can reach all of those things, but you have to take it in that day to day and now. Focus on that now, that there are things you can be doing now, even if it's not going full force, diving in. Maybe it's starting with, I'm going to research what this looks like. What does it take to get there? That's how I started this whole podcast journey. Like, I don't know a thing about recording podcasts or getting them out in the world, but I started with, like, what does this actually look like? Writing it all down. And then breaking it down into the bite-sized pieces of what does it actually take to make those things come true. And then start the work one day at a time, one little piece at a time, and remind yourself that you are wildly capable. And when you are telling yourself that these are all of the reasons why you cannot do something, I highly encourage you to just flip that script and say, well, why not me? Why not you? So thank you for joining us for episode 23 and bearing with me with my vocal cords. We will be back next week with a really great topic. So I think we're talking about being beautifully broken, which there will be positive. Like, this is Dose of Feel Good. We're going to have those feel good moments. So I hope you all have a wonderful week and join us again next time. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you are feeling ready to conquer the week and let your impact ripple out to the world around you. Let's connect on Instagram and Threads at Dose of Feel Good Podcast. If you're loving the podcast, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and leave a review. Until next time, share your own dose of feel good and never underestimate the power of positivity.